a game we witnessed this morning. You know, our time, 1 o'clock in the morning kickoff. How are we going to do it? The game made it very, very easy to stay awake because
for sure.
Arsenal came absolutely flying out the gates. Where do we even start?
I think the best way to sum up how Arsenal started is my mate Lewis, shout out Lou, who does listen to the podcast, he's an Arsenal supporter, and he messaged
The boys.
about Martinelli, and I was like, we're going to get pumped here. They were ludicrously
Yeah,
good.
they were bouncing.
They looked like champions that first 20 minutes. Martinelli gave Trent a bit of a bath, which highlights some issues with Liverpool, but I'm sure we'll mention. That second half, though, just encapsulates what Anfield's about, what Liverpool's about in terms of its history. And, you know, to be fair to Arsenal, that should be viewed as a point gain, not 2 points lost.
Yeah, let's delve into that first half to start with. That's what we've seen from Arsenal so far this year, though. Like, you know, they've been a team that does start quick, and that's where it's frustrating from a Liverpool perspective because you know that Arsenal are going to do that. They did it to us at the Emirates.
Correct.
They've done it to many, many teams this year already, and we weren't able to deal with it. Now, Arsenal, as you said already, identified where a problem was. It was actually interesting that the second goal comes down the left-hand side from memory.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
One of the goals do. Which
the first goal.
First
comes,
goal comes
first
from the
goal
left.
comes down from the left,
Sorry.
but Martinelli comes inside of Trent, and Trent never gets goal side.
That's right.
It's that first goal. If you have a look at that first goal and the first goal Arsenal scored at the Emirates, very similar. They actually got a 5v4 against our flat four with 5. And I feel like as much as we can blame Trent, it's just the beauty of watching Arsenal at the minute. Committing numbers forward. Who's another team in the Prem that gets 5 guys against 4 defenders in the Prem?
Yeah.
There's only one other, and they called Manchester City. So you can see a bit of the pep in it, which is why Arteta's probably having as good of a year.
Yeah.
And
they exploit the matchup there with Trent.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'll get on to Trent a bit later on because he had a fantastic game. But defensively, we know that that's going to be a problem. And he got caught a few times, not just for the goal, but where Martinelli would sort of hold that wider position and make Trent accountable. Now, we try to get across to deal with the ball, and Robbo does his best to get there after, you know, Verge has a moment where he slips too. Like, I think there was just... We saw Kanate slip a lot in the game too. Like, I don't know what the issue was there with the boys, but end of the day, Martinelli pokes the ball home, and you can see Robbo's face straight away. He's just like, you know, here we go again type of scenario. Arsenal absolutely dominated.
Oh, yeah,
up until
100%.
that point where Jesus scores.
Yep.
Again, same thing. Ball comes down the right. What a header, though, from Jesus to get up, put it side netting. What a ball from Martinelli, too. He just absolutely picks him out. And again, scores 1 goal, creates problems for the second goal. I'm sitting there going, what is going on down this right flank this whole season? Because we just can't... That's where we're leaking goals. And that's why it was funny that the first goal actually came down defensive issues on the left.
Yeah.
But from that minute, Xhaka fires up Trent and Trent pushes him back and gets a yellow card and he's doing the big double hands up to the crowd, you knew something was coming.
Yeah, it was a different Trent, and that's the Trent that he's a weird one to speak about because when we're on our pomp, and I say we're, I'm wearing a Liverpool jacket for people that aren't listening or watching. Watch us on YouTube, please. But with that being said, when Trent is in a side where you need defensive stability, we're not the team for that.
Yep.
You saw Gomez against Chelsea. Good shift, defensively solid. When we need Trent is where we need him for when he's creating or has the second goal. He has that moment of magic to make Zinchenko look like he's 12.
Yeah.
You know, and back to the schoolboy days of getting megged and you think the world's going to fall apart. That's when the Trent we needed. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again and I'm going to pitch this question to you about Trent. His initial movement for the goal comes from the middle of the park where Henderson... Our second goal, where Henderson, actually takes the ball outside of him as the right back, for instance.
Yeah.
And yet again, it just makes me just say that when we need to be defensively solid, he has to move into the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Because I think he would be one of our best midfielders. And then in
and
the games...
we've got a midfielder problem at the moment, too.
Yeah, and then the games where we're against the weaker sides... where we're going to be, Bournemouths or, whatever, where we're going to be on top of the opposition 24/7, then yes, you play Trent because at right back because he's not going to do as much defensively. Teams will target, but I'd rather watch him go up against, the Bournemouth wingers than Martinelli, for goodness sake. So, and if you watch the movement for that second goal, he originates from centre mid, right centre mid.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, surely that's the area that we would target.
Yeah, look, I was going to bring that to this episode as well, because for me, our right central midfielder anyway, whether it's Elliott, whether it's Jones, drift wide regardless. So I actually think that's the perfect spot for him long term in this team, because he can then get up and down, do the shuttle work, box to box, but he can also then venture out right. When Salah wants to cut in, he's got the quality to then put the ball into the box. I think long term that's his spot. I think as a team we really need to target getting a right back in, because we saw how dominant he was in that second half, taking shots, creating space, finding options, little flick passes with him and Salah. Like, he actually had the most complete offensive game I've seen for him, 100% for the season, but maybe bar the Leicester game where he scored 2, probably one of his best offensive games, full stop, for Liverpool. Like, from a consistent 60-minute basis. Yeah. So he's had moments where he's been better and scored goals and things, but our whole play ran through him, and that got accentuated when Thiago came on as well. We then had 2 guys that were comfortable on the ball in big moments, that were able to pick the right passes out. We saw once Darwin Núñez come on, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself now, but balls were just flying in. Yeah. And it was like, holy moly, this is a whole different dynamic of a midfield. Then you add Harvey to that when fit, maybe there's something there. So let's transition back. First half, Trent's rolled the crowd up. Salah finds a way to get a goal. That seems to be his ethos this season. Just at times we'll just find a goal. It wasn't vintage Mo Salah. He didn't take 100 people
Poacher's goal, as they would say. Yeah, right man, goal. Right area, right time. And that's the hallmark, and look, people are going to slate me for this, of a world-class winger.
Yeah.
He's had apparently a really bad year.
And he scored 20-odd goals.
And that's a really bad season. And it if you ask him, it probably would be.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that people forget just the longevity and consistency of the man. And, when we really needed it, and we were, the crowd's getting in, everyone's fueled up. Yes, he misses a penalty later on. But, to be in that moment, in the right space, to react as well, put Kanate in that area,
Yeah.
You see what happens, obviously, in the 94th minute. But, look, and it's a moment that I think we deserved in the first half too, and a moment that really probably gave Arteta really food for thought at halftime.
Yeah, 100%. I think that changed the game, that goal, 100%. Liverpool came out flying to start the second half and really sustained that for long periods of the second half.
Could have been 2-2 at halftime, Paul. Ramsdale makes a big save, and then Henderson fires over the bar.
And then you've also got Robbo, who should have made it, 1-1 as well, with drags his shot. We had something like 15 shots to 6 or something, and it was about 60 minutes into the game, but only 2 or 3 had been on target. That was from an offensive... that's been our problem all year, is that we're not taking our chances.
It's what we say when we watch AFL. It's a coach killer.
Yeah.
And look, it's not going to kill Klopp because of what we, as Liverpool fans, hold Klopp in that high esteem. We're not used to that turnover of managers. If this was Chelsea and we were Chelsea, gone. He would be gone already, right? For instance, or Watford, God forbid, or something like that, right? He's going to get his time in the summer. I think he knows that. But with that being said, you can clearly see when it all goes right that we do have the quality there.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see, if we could replicate that this second half, which we're about to speak about, for the rest of the season. Because if we can, then yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, look, real positive signs there for Liverpool. Darwin comes on again, has a one-on-one, hits it straight at Ramsdale. That's who I want to talk about, though. That might be one of the single most impressive goalkeeper performances I've seen at Anfield for a very, very long time.
You want to know what it reminds me of? Back when we were under Roy Hodgson, and every away keeper used to come in and off 20 saves. It reminds me like Ben Foster at West Brom, just flying himself around.
At everything.
Tim Krul doing Tim Krul things back in the day. But it was like such a complete performance from Ramsdale. It was scary good. He made big saves in the first half. He gives them a point. That point could win them the league. For instance. You need a world-class keeper in that moment. I know there was a lot of talk when he came into Arsenal. Why we're signing a guy that's going to go, he's been relegated a few times, yada, yada. This guy is so good, right? When it comes to making big, world-class saves. The Darwin save, straight at him, but off his line with speed, big, at the ball. We knows that if he gets on top of it, he can make himself knife and big sideways because it's just going to be kicked into him.
Yeah.
Yes, Darwin should do better. Yes, Darwin should get chances. Yes, Klopp's
But that was his first big chance of the game too.
Correct, it caught him cold. Yes, Klopp's big issues is that we haven't scored enough of these chances. But Ramsdale, what a save. He then pulls off another massive save
Salah one.
Against Salah.
Deflected shot.
Like
changes like in the air.
And any other goalkeeper, I think, in the Prem, bar probably Edison and Alisson down the other end, are probably conceding to that.
Yeah.
It was a worldie of a save. And this is where I think Arsenal have to look. If you told them they were 2-0 up, they'll probably feel disappointed with the point. But I think as the game went on, they would be really happy that they got a point.
Then you add the Kanate one in the last second as well, which
that's just
bounces off his chest. And
Kanate didn't know what was going on.
It was an awkward height for him because he's sort of thinking, I'm going to go for the header, and then he's like too committed, and he couldn't get out of it, and he was kind of falling. He's like, look, end of the day, he hasn't done the right thing there. The right thing for him is stay on your feet and just smash it in.
Yeah.
But when he's already committed to the header, the best thing he could do is actually put his chest on the ball. Again, it takes a bloody unbelievable save from Aaron Ramsdale.
Great agility, great positioning,
and to be on the line, have the awareness that he's not over the line already. There's just a lot of technicality there in that goalkeeping, and then you add his distribution in there as well. He's a threat from those scenarios too. So if you're Arsenal, you'd probably take a point going into the game. Yep. Obviously, they would have rathered 3 after what Man City did yesterday, but what a game for the neutral.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. What a game. There was flashpoints in terms of refereeing and some controversy at half time. I just think the biggest thing to take out of that, it was a tale of, if you're Arsenal, you're disappointed after 30 minutes they only got a point. By the end of the game, they are loving that they got a point because they probably should have got beat. And if you're Liverpool, we're worrying about the worst. I'm worried about getting pumped first 20 minutes. And I sit there at a 2-2 and I'm really glad that I enjoyed probably one of the best games of the season. But I'm also thinking...
Walk away, we could have won.
I'm like...
and should have won.
Should we have just won that game 5-2?
Yeah.
Like, is that what really just happened? Leaves us in a precarious position because I've mentioned that I feel like we need to basically win out to probably make top 4.
Yeah.
But look...
In order to do that, give me a midfield of Fabinho, Henderson, Trent with Gomez at right back and tell Trent, be that guy.
Yeah.
Be the guy that creates everything for us, either off the right flank or centrally.
It doesn't even have to be. Be the guy that just sits in and provides cover to let Trent, if he wants to go wide, as wide.
And the one man we haven't spoken about just briefly yet is probably Firmino.
Big moment.
Big moments for
he
Bobby.
Loves it,
but once he came on and we went into that 4-2-3-1 and he sort of kept dropping into that hole, he looked unbelievable. Like him, Thiago, Trent were bouncing off each other.
He just drops in the space so well.
Yeah.
And he's so intelligent. And
we're going to miss that next year.
Yeah, we will. And we're transitioning into a different sort of Liverpool phase. Gakpo does do a bit of that as well, to be fair to him.
He wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be a weird time for Liverpool next season. This is not about Liverpool really.
Diaz coming back.
Another one, which is, we're not here to speak about what could be for Liverpool Football Club as much as we would love to.
Yeah.
I want to take it back to the fact that Arsenal under previous seasons, and Arsenal not being in this position ever as a champion, a champion's elect sort of, or a title contender, have managed to still find a point. The great word used to be, what Gary Neville used to say about Sir Alex was, you used to draw a game, everyone used to be, and Sir Alex would be like, that's 1 point gained. That's not 2 points lost, that's 1 point game. They're still in a position where, because they haven't lost, as long as they grind out a result against City, it's theirs to lose. Where, look, don't get me wrong, they would love to match City's results all the way through, but you're telling me that Anfield's a place where you're really going to target 3 points?
Yeah, you're just happy you hold off.
Exactly. So I think from an Arsenal perspective, really good point. For us, disappointing, but we were 2-0 down, so we'll take it.
Take it all day long, and we've got to make some serious points up to get into the top 4 now that we've just got to win out almost. So
correct. My only last question before we wrap up here, Paul, is do we have claims for a late doors penalty?
Nah. I think if Salah doesn't throw himself into the ground, more so, but I think there was hands around him, 100%, but I don't think it's forceful. I think in that moment, he needs to do everything to stay on his feet because I think he's gone, I'm not going to get a shot away here. And you can see there's a clear change in Salah's physical stature that he throws himself back. And I think that's the point where it goes, nah, it's exaggerated. But if he's trying to get a shot away and then there's a shirt grab, then I'd say yes.
And this is where I want to say, that happened in the 96th. In the 94th, there's a ball clipped over the top. He gets Scholz-Tierney and he spoons it over the bar. If you watch Tierney as he turns, he grabs him, pulls him, and drags him back.
Yeah, I saw that on his right foot.
If he doesn't grab Salah's over the top of that and scores.
I thought that was more of a penalty.
So for me, I'm going to say that the one from Gabriel, not a pen at all. If anything, book him for simulation.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? Which would be very harsh. That Tierney run, for me...
That was a pen.
That's a pen and a red card because he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking the same. For me, that's... He's running in behind.
Correct.
I can't keep up with him. I'm just going to hold him enough.
He's smart, though. He holds him enough and then lets him go. But by that stage, he's already dragged him back that his body's already going backwards.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right, if Salah just forgets about the ball and just goes down, Tierney's red card, penalty... Well, look, Salah's already missed one.
Well, Salah wouldn't take it. I'd be giving it to Fabinho.
Oh, yeah, same here. I would have given it to Fabinho.
Oh, no, sorry. He was off the pitch at that point.
Ooh, who did you give it to?
Ooh,
Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, anyway. We need to talk about Liverpool penalty takers in another video.
Done. But what a game. Great moment. Big moments. Controversial moments. He's going to go down as one of the games of the season.